Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back for episode 2 of season 4 of the F1 2019 HAAS Road to Glory career mode, where today we're here back for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now I know recently I've been getting a lot of requests from you guys just to sort of show the performance chart and the progress that we're making at the moment. We currently have one upgrade going on with the chassis department. We've got an engine cover weight reduction major upgrade. So hopefully that one is meant to be coming through next weekend out at the Chinese Grand Prix. And we're also going to add an aero upgrade as well. Now these three I think are all pretty much the same. That one does a little bit more performance than that one by the looks of it. So we'll go with the front wing turning vanes. And yes, so we've now got, what's that, 67 R&D points. But we've got a couple of upgrades going towards the car. It should bring us a bit closer to Ferrari. You can see Aston Martin and Williams at the top. Renault, Ferrari, Racing Point just a little bit behind them. And then HAAS, Mercedes, McLaren, Toro Rosso and Alfa all sort of tail off toward the rear of the field. But anyway, let's jump in then. It's time for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
The curtain rises once more then on the desert stage of Capure as the players take their places for the opening act. Will they enthrall us like they did in 2014 with that titanic battle between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Well, we'll find out shortly as we get underway here in Bahrain. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best at turn 1 of course, and then another soon into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Great work from Lucas Weber yesterday sees him start from pole, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Gasly, Lewis Hamilton and Leclerc, Hülkenberg, Vettel, Norris and Sergio Perez, Ricciardo, Butler, Romain Grosjean, Mr. Monaco, Sainz, Stroll, Alexander Albon and Daniel Kvyat. Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
So here we are then on the grid, ready for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Bahrain even, I should say. Messed up qualifying, unfortunately. I completely misjudged how much time we needed to get onto my final Q2 run, hence why we start a little bit further down the order than I would have wanted. But for this race, though, we're going to try and go for the medium-hard strategy. Hopefully that can take us right the way through to the end of the Grand Prix. I ideally wanted to start outside the top 10 for this one anyway. The only downside is you sort of get a bit of a weird grid ready for this Grand Prix. We've got Weber on pole ahead of Bottas, with the Red Bulls on row 2. Now, Ferrari isn't much quicker than us, so maybe, just maybe, we can try and hang on with them in the race. But I'm ready, though, for the start of round 2 of the season. Starting a little bit further down, like I said, but hopefully we can try and sneak ourselves into the points once again. A couple of drivers around me, starting on a set of the hard compounded tyres. It's 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Don't respond too well to the lights, trying to get down to the power. That hasn't been a good getaway. Going to see a couple of cars stream down around the outside as we head in towards turn 1. Stroll, that is a move and a half, mate, if you're able to pull that off. Unfortunately, just parks it on the apex in front of me there, but yeah, we've lost a couple of places off the start, though, and that's not ideal because, oh my god, everyone's still braking really early into turn 4. Obviously, we're on a softer compounded tyre than a lot of people around us, so we need to try and get around them. Devon Butler, though, is starting on a set of these softs, so he's probably going to be quite quick as well there. We're back up to where we started, though, back up into P14. So hopefully we can try and keep with the guys in front. It's now just a case of, really, in the grand scheme of things of this race, is trying not to lose a pit stop's worth of time to a lot of the cars towards the front. Now, we might see, I know Red Bull famously back last season managed to somehow pull off the one stop at Germany. I don't know how on earth they managed to do that still, so we might try and see a couple of teams go for a risky one stop softs hards, but normally around here it is not a good idea, as all over the back of Devon Butler towards the end of lap 1, diving it down into sector 3. We've got a little bit of spare fuel, a little bit of spare ERS. Obviously at the moment I always like to overfuel the car just a little bit, as Grosjean just up in front locks up. But yeah, hopefully we can just try and settle down into a rhythm here, but we do need to try and get past these guys as quickly as possible. Now, this track should suit our car quite well. Obviously, our engine is by far and away our most upgraded part, so we're going to make it 3 wide down in towards turn 1. That's a bit aggressive, pinch the wheel there, but we make the move work. No warnings from the FIA. We're going to up into P12 of the Grand Prix, but those Mercedes are certainly going to be quick off the start of this race. We need to try and get into the slipstream of Ricciardo. Coming towards the end of lap 3, you can see already Formula 1.5 starting to take shape there. The top 10 is starting to make a bit of a breakaway. Ricciardo's in a bit of no man's land. However, Devon Butler is not letting us get a breakaway at the moment here. We should be the fastest runner on the medium compounded tyres at this stage of the day, but Mercedes, trying to stick with the front runners, is unfortunately tripping me up just a little bit here. As you can see, Devon Butler just tried to get around the inside of him, but still sits there on the inside. And we're going to swoop back around the outside and back up now into P12. But yeah, you can just see Ricciardo. I need to try and get into his DRS, but it's just a case of seeing where all the top guys end up, because we could find ourselves trying to do a lot of defending towards the end of this race, because we are the top man on the alternate strategy. I think pretty much everyone behind us but Devon Butler is trying to follow suit. Coming to the end of lap 5, it's going to be a new PB, a 130.3. Gap to Ricciardo is starting to come down there. Devon Butler seems to be losing a bit of time as well at the moment. The only other thing I've noticed is I'm leaving it in rich revs and ERS on 3. We don't seem to be losing much whatsoever, so once again, just like Australia, it seems reassuring that we can seem to push on those as well. We can really try and throw absolutely everything the engine's got on this, but yeah, hopefully as we go even quicker through Sector 1, Gap to Ricciardo is really starting to drop down. Hopefully we can try and get past him. End of lap 6, we've now got the DRS on Ricciardo here, really starting to get into a bit of a groove in this race. Another new PB, a 129.5. Is Ricciardo, he's going to try and go defensive, 220 miles an hour down in towards turn 1, but we get the car at the inside, we get it stopped nicely through the first apex. Now we've got to try and defend from him. Team are clearly happy with that one as well, and we're now up into P11 of the Grand Prix. We're doing alright at the moment. We've just got to continue pushing. You can see a big train forming for about P2 down to P10. But I think it's Weber in the lead, and he seems to be trying to make a break for it. Starting to see the first few soft runners dive it in then. We've got the race leader and I think Lewis Hamilton have both dived it in on the end of that lap. A few more cars are probably going to be diving it in very, very shortly as well, but that's reassuring to know that it doesn't appear like the AI are going to be trying that strategy there. You can see Weber even, I should say, out on another set of these soft compounded tyres. So we're now in the same net strategy as these guys. I would have thought they're going to have to try and take hards to the end. They might be able to get mediums if they're sensible with it, but we've got quite a big gap over them. That's the most important thing. We are definitely within a fight for points here when you consider how far ahead we are of Weber and how far ahead of the rest of them he was. This is looking reassuring at the moment, but obviously a safety car could very, very easily ruin that. End of lap 9, a few more drivers are pitting. It appears Red Bull and Racing Point are trying to hang on out there for a bit longer, so we're now up into P5 of the race. Now, they might be trying to make the one-stop work here, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's not so reassuring for ourselves. Ricciardo's still ahead of Weber. You can see those guys are going to come out a good, what, over 10 seconds behind us. So we're doing alright. We just got to keep our head down, keep pounding out the laps. Yellow flag's out. What's that all about? Mclaren seems to have pulled off. That's a bit unfortunate. Are we going to get a safety car?
Some information on Verstappen. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
So Verstappen seems to have issues. Vettel and one of the Red Bulls have dived it into the pit lane. It is Gasly. He's gone onto the hards. I can only imagine Seb's done the same. So those guys look to be trying to get to the end of this race. But yeah, Verstappen over the radio's got issues. I mean, he's probably still going to be quicker than us despite that, but we'll continue at it. Now Weber needs to push, and we're sort of just sat here in a bit of no man's land, just watching this race unfold around us, hoping it puts us somewhere good, but we'll wait and see. Hulkenberg dives it into the pit lane as well. The gap to Weber's definitely coming down at the moment. But Verstappen, oh, he's on the mediums. So Verstappen should have a fairly safe one stop then. I'm going to definitely be intrigued to know when he comes in. We'll probably try and do the same. But yeah, Verstappen though, the only guy then clearly that was in the top 10 who had the pace in those mediums. And I'm actually really surprised as to just how well he hung on in there with those tyres. But yeah, Weber is closing in quite quickly on us. We're probably going to try and follow Verstappen in when he does make his stop.
We want to pit this lap, so push now.
Team want us in end of this lap then, so we're clearly running a fairly safe strategy at the moment. Hamilton new fast lap of the Grand Prix. Perez goes even faster. And it's reassuring for me that our PB isn't too far off those guys, considering they're in a bit of a slipstream battle at the moment. And if we can stay out this lap ahead of Weber, that means we have still got a whole pit stop advantage over him with half a race to go. We could be on for a decent result here, but unfortunately it's going to be one of those ones where it probably is going to sort of fall away towards the end, where everyone will still be on quicker tyres than us. But we'll wait and see. Trying to keep positive at the moment. You can see how much Verstappen's struggling. We've taken a good 2 seconds out of him over the last lap. Through the final corner we go. We've still got a 2 second margin over Weber. But into the pits we go. Make sure obviously we get it slowed down nice and tidily. There we go. Nice and comfortable in. So where are we going to rejoin in this Grand Prix? That is the big question at the moment. Verstappen's going to come out in quite a good position. Perez another fastest lap of the race. Nice 2.2 second pit stop for ourselves. We're going to come out just behind this big train. Are we going to stay out ahead of the McLarens? One of the Toro Rossos is in as well. That's Capure. I think we're going to come out just behind these guys. So let's see what we can do. Don't want to do what Sainz did to Stroll a couple of years ago. But yeah, back out now in P14. But definitely a lot more places to be had. We'll only probably get a rough idea of where we stand in this race by about lap 21, 22 I'm inclined to say. Once all the soft runners have made their final stop. Yellow flag's out. Someone's got issues. Don't say it's Weber going slowly. The man that's dominated the first half of this Grand Prix. It is Weber. Weber's going slowly. That must be heartbreaking for him. He's, well, like I said, he wasn't in the lead all the race, but he has been in the net lead right from the get-go. And, well, Ferrari disappointment at Bahrain. That must be heartbreaking. Safety car's been deployed. That might have just screwed us at quite a good result here. That, well, I felt sorry for Weber, but now I really don't. That is really, really going to cost us a lot towards the end of this race. We've just made the pit stop. However, obviously all these guys are still going to have to dive it in. But yeah, that means all the guys that were on the 2 stop, they've now got a free pit stop out of it. And there's nothing we can do. There's no point pitting onto another set of the hards. We don't even have another set of the hards that we can use. That is gutting for ourselves. Catch safety car key, right, we don't have to follow the delta anymore. Oh man, we cannot get the luck of the green. Where are we going to rejoin in this race? How many places are we going to lose towards the end? We're going to come back out in P5, but we're going to have so many quicker cars around us. It's going to be a defensive journey to the end. However, if Verstappen's still got issues, he might be struggling. Safety car's going to be coming in end of this lap then. We need to get ready for the restart here. Hopefully we can try and get past, or at least stick with the guys just in front. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to know if Verstappen has got still some mechanical issues. But yeah, we need to try and, well, defend is really going to be our aim. There's a lot of quick cars right behind us. But we'll see, you know, if there's an opportunity to get past a couple of people, we're certainly going to give it our best shot. Down in towards the final corner, getting ready then for this restart. Try and get on the power as nice and tidy as possible there. I've got a little bit of a run on Sebastian. It's going to be green flag racing once again here. Is that racing point going to have the legs down towards turn 1? We're certainly going to try and stick it at the inside of him. Big lockup coming in from Verstappen, and we're now up into P4 of the race. Try and slam the door shut on Seb through turn 2. Getting a little bit loose on the exit, but obviously we know we can basically leave it in rich revs and high ERS between now and the end of the Grand Prix. This is a big chance for some good points here. Verstappen does seem to be struggling as well. Could we find ourselves on the podium in a short space of time? We will have to wait and see. Hulkenberg, though, is still separating the powers here. Gasly is looking like he just wants to check out of the restart. Come on, get the power down. Hulkenberg, bit of a weird line into there. But yeah, once the DRS comes back out, we might find ourselves struggling a bit more. But we'll stick with these guys as best as possible. Surely Hulkenberg's going to try and threaten Max down in towards the corner. Max is going to defend it. Can we potentially capitalise as well? Trying to look around the outside of the Red Bull. Almost a bit of contact. Around the outside we go. Just about got the grip. And we're now up into P3 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Things I never thought I'd say this early on into the HAAS Road to Glory Season 4. Now we can potentially try and line up a move on Hulkenberg as well, if we get a good run at the final corner. Come on, let's do this. Not quite going to be close enough this time around. Seb seems to have got past Max as well, so he's plummeting down the order like a stone at the moment. Can we potentially go for a bit of a send on Hulkenberg? Think about it, but can't quite make it work there. But we've still, like I said, got so much ERS to play with here. We may as well try and keep pushing at the moment and throw absolutely everything we've got at it. If we can try and get past a couple of cars, it's hopefully means that we just defend a little bit longer towards the end. That means cars can't get back around us. Come on, Hulkenberg, going very, very slowly in through the S's. Don't hit that curb. Anyone that's played this game knows how deadly that curb is there. But just trying to get the tyres into the rhythm as well. DRS is now running enabled as well. Hopefully this allows us to apply even more pressure to Hulkenberg. Just in front, we're using so much of our ERS though. I said how it was safe. Using hot lap mode and overtake, you really do realise just how much you get through there. Getting a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 4. That's an interesting line through there. Come on. Get our head back in. We've got 10 laps to go of this Grand Prix. I mean, even if we just hang on to Hulkenberg's coattails, that would still be useful in this race. Well, no, Seb's all over the back of us. Surely, yeah, there's not much we can do here. Seb's going to be able to have a look up the inside. A very, very late lunge by the Racing Point man. It's going to park it in front of us on the exit as well. Not quite what we wanted, but again, just like we tried to with Hulkenberg, if we can hang on to his coattails for a couple of laps, that'll be useful. But next up behind us is Hamilton then. We might be able to get a run back on Seb down in towards turn 1. We'll wait and see. See if we can get anything hooked up at the final corner. Going to have hot lap mode, back down into overtake mode. Revving out the gears as much as possible. Now with the DRS as well. Yeah, we're going to be able to get back past Seb. Perez, another fastest lap of the race. Back at the inside of Seb though, in towards turn 1. Have to concentrate in the braking zones. Make sure I don't lock up. Now Seb surely is going to try and get back past us again. There we go. There goes the slingshot move. Can we potentially hold it around the outside? Very, very late on the brakes. Yes, we do. We still hold on to P3. The podium fight continues for now. Hulkenberg, though, is making a breakaway. Gasly, unless something goes catastrophically wrong, has absolutely gone. And Verstappen, he appears to be down in the midfield. 7 laps to go now of the Grand Prix. Sweat mode has well and truly been activated. At the moment, we've got Seb still not far behind us, however he's not gaining too much down the straights. And I'm hoping him and Perez start battling before he gets back to me. Because that could just give us a bit of space, a bit of breathing room. That could really make or break our race at the moment. He gains a lot up to here. And then obviously having to sit in the dirty air through Sector 2 is really costing him. New personal best of the race, however. Vettel is a whole lot closer this time round. We're hanging on in there at the moment. Why is Grosjean just pit? I'm guessing he's picked up damage. That's basically his race over. Unless we end up with another safety car here. But at the moment, we're just trying to hang on in. We've got 6 laps to go of this race. Could we get what is most definitely the most unpredictable podium I think I've ever had in this series? We never got a podium in Season 3. It was our first season without. Could we end that drought here today? Yellow flags out again. It appears that I think the Alfa Romeo is going slowly right at the rear of the field there. Don't bring us out another safety car. I cannot afford for the field to get really bunched up. Giovinazzi's out. Please no more safety cars. I beg at the moment. We're hanging on in there. Hulkenberg, the gap to Hulkenberg's actually been coming down again over these last couple of laps. So we're just trying to see if we can get into his DRS again. But please, no more safety cars. We got 5 laps to go of this race, and we are doing absolutely everything we can to try and hold on. Gap to Hulkenberg down to just 0.6 of a second there as we take a bit of an interesting line in towards the penultimate corner there. But yeah, at the moment, we're closing in. We should now have the DRS on Hulkenberg. However, we do need to try and time our move. So obviously he can't get back past us here. We're also looking like we're going to be close to the fastest lap of the race at 28.3. That's only a couple of tenths off what Sergio Perez has been able to do. And now we are all over the back of Hulkenberg once again in this race. 4 laps to go here of Sakir. Can we potentially make the move work? We're going to get quite a good run at the first couple of corners here. Shall we go for the send? We're going to have to go for it. Up the inside of Hulkenberg for P2 once again in this race. Can we get the power on the exit? Yes, we can. Over to P2 of the race. Hulkenberg tries to get the nose back up the inside. We do give him the room, but we hold on. And now we need to try and make a break. Yeah, Gasly, new fastest lap of the race at 27.9. How far off that are we? We do a 28.5, so we're losing up. Gasly's already got a 10-second lead. But at the moment, we're more focused on the cars behind us, and Hulkenberg, on the run down to T1, hasn't been able to get close enough again. He might be able to apply some pressure as we head out of the first couple of corners. However, at the moment, we are throwing everything we've got at this, and we're safe for now. I think Gasly's just trying to flex on us at the moment, setting those new fastest laps over and over. However, Hulkenberg, he might be close enough to try and go for something on the run down towards turn 1. We are aware of it. We're going to try and break the toe as best as possible. Hulkenberg back to the outside. He's going to be much, much later on the brakes. However, we need to keep the nose there. We're going to be very, very aggressive. Slam the door shut through turn 2. And that might have just bought us one more lap of defending. Hulkenberg now and Perez go side by side. This is an opportunity. We need to break away as best as possible here. If we can break the toe right now, which we might have just been able to with those two battling. 0.9 of a second, come on. Whoa. Back end tyres are really, really starting to go. We got just over a lap and a half to try and hold on to this though. And we're going to do everything within our power to do so there. Now up into P3 just behind us there. He's made the move work on the racing point. And is he going to be able to get close enough to us there as we just clip that death curb towards the end of Sector 2. Perez now 1.1 behind us. We can get a good run out of the final corner. Or we might just be clear of the DRS for now. Gasly, 3 fastest laps in a row. I think you need to stop doing that, mate, in all honesty. At the final corner, what is the gap to Perez going to be behind us? I don't think he's got the DRS. We might be safe. It's 0.9 of a second to Perez. He's got a bit better top-end speed anyway. No, he's losing a load on us down the front straightaway here. Down in towards turn 1 for the final time in this race. Get it nice and tidily through the first couple of corners there. Perez, he is still going to be closing in on us throughout the entirety of this lap, but we've got so much extra fuel and a little bit of ERS to play with as well here. The tyres are basically shot But I think that's what you'd expect coming from what has been, what, 12, 13 quali laps? Just pounding it around. Trying to drag everything we can out of this HAAS. In towards, oh, getting a bit loose there, in towards the most difficult corner on the track. Just open up the entry as best as possible, roll it in, tap the curves, then try and get the traction on the exit there. A little bit of wheel spin, that allows us to break the toe to Perez behind. He's still very, very close though. We can't afford to make any mistakes in the final sector of this Grand Prix. I can just feel the tyres behind us just skating around on those rears there. Just clip the curb again. Penultimate corner there, clip the apex, get the run off the exit. Is Perez going to be close enough? Surely he's not going to be close enough to go for a send. Sorry, Gasly even, I should say. Another fastest lap comes through to win the race. But through the final corner, down towards the start-finish line here, we're going to break the toe from Perez. It's going to be P2 at the end of the day. What an unpredictable result from P14 on the grid. I thought that safety car would ruin our day. But in fact, it ended up making it.
Red Bull pulling out all the stops today. What a great win. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team. So, let's review the drivers' standings. With today's outstanding performance, Pierre Gasly becomes the new leader of the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. Red Bull pull further ahead in the standings. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Oh boys, what a race that was at the end of the day. It's not often we get a podium in the HAAS Road to Glory. I think that's our 4th podium ever in this series, and I think 4 different tracks as well. Obviously, we got the podium back at Australia, our debut race in Formula One. And then also, obviously, we won the Hungarian Grand Prix of that season. We got a podium at Spa, I think it was Season 2, where tricky conditions, we managed to make a perfect strategy call in that race. And if I'm not mistaken, Spa Season 2 was the last time we ended up on the podium in this series. It has been a long time coming, but we are finally back up towards the top of the standings there. From P14 to P2 at the end of the day. Perez P10 to P3. As well there, and Gasly from P4 to the race victory there. Fastest lap as well for him means that Red Bull keep up their win streak and absolute dominance that we've continued to see from those guys. Their Racing Point a bit lucky. They looked set to get a double podium at the end of the day, but unfortunately just fell apart towards the end there. Hülkenberg once again missing out on a podium. Vettel in 5th there ahead of Hamilton as well in that Renault that struggled towards the end of the day. Lando Norris, another good result for Williams as well, with 3rd and 7th place for the team. Bottas comes through in P8 ahead of Charles Leclerc, and Verstappen does pick up 1 point at the end of the day there. Ricciardo just misses out in P11 ahead of his teammate Devon Butler there. Kvyat in 13th, my teammate Grosjean in 14th after making the 2-stop strategy at the end of the day there, with Albon, Sainz, Stroll and Raikkonen finishing out the finishers. And then you can see Giovinazzi and Weber, they're both not making it through to the end of the Grand Prix. In terms of the championship, 4th place for ourselves. Best British driver so far as well. They're things you love to see at the end of the day. But Gasly leads the way now ahead of Perez, the consistency man, in P2. Max Verstappen still holding on to P3 after his win back at Australia there. And we move ourselves all the way up into P4 there. Lando Norris holds on to 5th ahead of Hamilton. Hülkenberg up to 7th ahead of Weber. Vettel jumping Charles Leclerc. to 9th and 10th respectively, with Bottas in 11th there. Only 11 drivers have scored points, and all of them are on 8 points or more. That is quite impressive as well there. And then you've got both Mercedes, both McLarens, both Toro Rossos, and both Alfa Romeos there, as well as my teammate Grosjean with no points on the board there. Myself 4th, Grosjean 17th in the standings. That really does say it all at the end of the day. And in the Constructors, despite that brilliant result, we're still 6th overall. We're still the worst of the point-scoring teams so far there. That's a little bit heartbreaking, I'll be honest there. But Racing Point jump up into P3, only 5 points ahead of us there. Renault in 4th, Ferrari in 5th, and then ourselves in P6. But what a race that was at the end of the day. Thank you all so much for watching and, you know, continuing to stick by this series if you have made it this far. That is exactly a good result that we needed. That will hopefully give us a lot of momentum as we head into the next few rounds of this championship. And we will be back next time out ready in Shanghai.